part of the reason why I became quieter in my life and didn't talk with a whole lot of people. My son do the same thing, and I believe my daughter do it somewhat. My daughters do it somewhat with that kind of people. I grew up and this term that I'm about to use is a new term. It wasn't used when I was a kid, but I grew up without social skills. Without social skills. My mother used to tell me, my mother and my dad used to tell me all the time, and I'll tell you why in just a little bit if you pay attention to me. I'll tell you why they said it. My mother and my dad used to say to me, "Why did you say that to that person?" And I would be uh, sitting back like, because it was true. And my mother would constantly say, "Why did you say that? You shouldn't have said that to her, or you shouldn't have said that to him." And I'll skip up a ways, and in playing football and in school, they used to say the same thing. "Why did you say that?" And I would still be puzzled, and I said it because it was true. And I remember when we were coming up, I don't know, you probably remember this, but remember when we got married that people used to say around us, "He can't love you if he said that to you." She would come and ask me, "How does this look on me?" And I tell her, it look a mess. And they say, "Why did he say that to you?" It did look a mess, but they wouldn't say it. And I was the type person that even in ministry, I would say, "You can't sing a lick. Don't ever sing again. You ain't anointed." and don't even think that you're anointed. You ain't this or you ain't that. And people would say, "Why did you say that to them?" Because they couldn't sing. They couldn't pray. They couldn't do whatever. I would say it. But I would always be, when people would say that to me, like, "Why did you say that?" When people would say that to me, I'd be sitting back like, because it was true. And somebody in the church, they're not here at this time, but they said to me, "You talk with your heart. You say you don't have social skills because people don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear what's true. They want to hear what excites them. They want to hear their desire. You need to learn how to speak with your emotions and to their emotions." Are you following what I'm saying? More than the truth. In other words, and I found, are y'all following what I'm saying? I came back and my mother said, "You say stuff is true, but you need to learn when to say it." People, you don't talk to people and tell them the truth because social skills is not, and my son told me, he said, social skills is not telling the truth to people. If they can't sing, let them not be able to sing. And I'm thinking to myself, why let them sing another song? Why let them pray another prayer? Why let them do another thing? Tell them the truth. Tell them it stunk. And they won't do it again. And I used to say to myself, tell my wife that don't look right on her. So people that don't like her won't tell her. Let me tell her before she get out of the house. You remember that? Let me tell her. And people would make me feel bad for telling her the truth. I remember going to a pastor one time and I told him the truth, but people were telling me, "You shouldn't have said that to him. Why did you say that?" And somebody came along in the church, like I said before, and said, "You don't have any social skills because you don't know how to talk to people." And then they began to put it like this. And just the other day in the restaurant, I was told, "Why did you say that to that lady?" It was true. I was sitting back like saying, because it was true. And then they said to me, "You don't say that to women." And now they don't say I don't have social skills to talk by telling the truth anymore, by telling people the truth. Do you realize, Brother David, you realize people don't want to hear the truth? They'd rather for you to say something. Yeah, girl, you can sing, but you just didn't sing your right song. Ain't no right song. and people begin to put it like this. And my wife tried to be nice to me. She said, "You don't get out much and talk to people much." When I was in the military, they used to say, "Rankin, why did you say that?" And I'm sitting back thinking I thought the whole day it was true. And they say, "Yeah, it was true, but you just don't say stuff like that to people." And I'm thinking, if you say it to them, they won't do it again. I'm thinking, I'm driving to have a real ministry. And I learned not long ago, Shelley, not long ago, you'll mess up. If you happen to be a man or a woman of God, you'll mess up if you're scared to tell the truth. If you'll tailor and make stuff, manifest stuff because you want people to like you. Are you following what I'm saying? You'll mess up. Adam didn't want to tell Eve. God said, "Don't eat from that." So we just bit it. Are you following what I'm saying? And so I was known for, and it's a rare thing, but I was known for, and I've messed up at times, but I was known for, you just walk straight down the camera, my brother. On the internet, they saw the back of your head. That was the back of his head. That was from my heart. Just messing with you, though. Anyway, I was known for, because even in the military, I wanted the best organization. And so I wasn't going to tell people, "You doing that almost right. You ain't doing it right. Don't ever do it again. You ain't singing right. Don't sing. That dress is a little bit too short," and on and on. Are you following what I'm saying? You don't say that. You don't say that to people. Well, somebody's going to say it to them that don't like them. And then and if I say Bill, you know what I'm talking about, Bill in England. He was somewhat of my best friend until I told him the truth. Shelley, when I say Bill, you remember? Bill, that's been years ago, probably 20 years ago or so, and they still remember him. You know how? Because he stunk. Bad, real bad. And nobody would tell him. They let him walk around for a year or so, smelling bad, until I said, "People are talking about him, and he's my friend. I'm going to tell him he stinks." And when I told him he stunk, he fell out with me, not with all the other people that didn't like him, that were going around behind his back talking about how he smelled. But he fell out with me, and he hadn't said anything to me to this day for telling him the truth. And so when I say Bill, see Lady Rankin up here saying bad, bad, bad. I'll get off this introduction so you can see what I'm talking about here. But I want to tell you that we have two types of churches. One is, and you talked about it in Sunday school, one is that uh, we have been doing the same thing for years in the church, the same thing. But do you not know that in a harvest, you don't do the same thing? You don't do the same thing. You don't, when you're in a harvest, you don't do what you were doing when you were sowing. You don't get up that morning and do the same thing with dad that you did before. Are you following what I'm saying? You don't do the same thing. There has to be what you said too, and what we said in the message, there has to be a shift. Why? Because this morning when I get up, it's going to be different. Why? Because the ministry is going to be different. Are you following what I'm saying? It's not going to be the same as it was, as it's been all the time. We spent our wills for some time in the ministry. We don't want the same thing. I'm standing flat-footed now telling you we don't want the same thing. Well, let me say it like this. I don't want the same thing. We read in your Bibles in the book of Acts, the 15th chapter, we read talking about the return of the tabernacle of David. I want to tell you what the tabernacle of David was about in the very beginning. The tabernacle of David in the beginning was a bunch of stuff being done, but out of emotion. Out of emotion. In other words, David would not go to war and look over across and see the woman, and out of his lust, out of his desire, choose what he wanted. Are you following what I'm saying? And so, in other words, let me get to where I'm going. In other words, the church for some time went off emotions, went off desires. In fact, we wrote rules, religious rules off desires, what we liked, what we wanted in the church, how we danced in the church, everything that we wrote that we could do in the church to make it look spiritual, we did, and we said that was church. Are you following what I'm saying? We rewrote things and we said things. Come on now, let me help us understand what I'm talking about. That little dance we do, is that written in the Bible anywhere? But if you don't do it like that, then it ain't spiritual. It's just a dance. Are you following what I'm saying? But because we could do it, it's spiritual. We sit by, Sister Linda Hope, we sit by and wrote down things, made rules, made religious rules to where I would look spiritual, where I would look like the prophet. What I did was all right. If I spoke in tongue at a certain time, it was all right. But if you can't do it, you can't be a part of the church. Are you following what I'm saying? And so I wrote religious rules, and the religious rules made me look spiritual. And it didn't have to go on anything that God said. It wasn't righteousness at all. It wasn't righteousness at all. It was emotions. Are you following what I'm saying? In fact, something came on the radio just yesterday, I believe it was yesterday or so, and Lady Rankin explained to me, that remind me of the church I used to be in. And the woman screamed out loud. And I looked at her. We were in the car. I looked at her and said, "What was that about?" That couldn't have been God all over her and God having her do that. She said, "No, she was just emotional." And so I thought our church for years has been emotional. Are you following what I'm saying? And if you can't get emotional, they had little things, anything dead in the church need to be buried. In other words, if you can't get emotional, people like me wouldn't make it because I didn't get emotional enough. Are you following saying in the church? And so the church for some years have been, am I right? Or am I right? Church for some years have been emotional. And what made the church was emotion. I chose my church off emotion. If it fed my desire, if it got me emotional, if it fed my feelings, are you following what I'm saying? If I felt good at the church, it was all right for me. What made me feel good? Are you following what I'm saying? And so, in other words, the first tabernacle was motion, desire. That tree and eating from that tree looks good to be desired. The presence of the Lord's coming, but I don't want the presence of the Lord. I want that tree. Are you following what I'm saying? I want that tree. And so I'll table the presence, the voice of the Lord walking in the cool of the day. I'll hide from that, but I'll eat from that tree. In other words, I'll feed my emotions. Are you following what I'm saying? And so, do you realize, I'm going to pick on you again. Do you realize in our churches, I don't know what church you come from, but do you realize in our church, the more weird you look, the more spiritual you look? That was in the church. The more weird you look, am I right? The more weird you look, the more spiritual you are. And the weird was emotion. Are you following what I'm saying? Let me tell you something about, I'm just talking to us for a little bit. Let me tell you something about our emotions, our feelings. When you get thirsty, if you drink water, you ain't thirsty no more. Am I right? You ain't thirsty no more. And so, in other words, what I'm saying about the church and what is being said here is that when I get my emotions fixed, if I need a wife and I get a wife, then my emotions for a woman hopefully is gone. Are you following what I'm saying? If I get what I feel like getting, then my feelings have been fixed. And so my church ran off something that was up 1 minute and gone the next minute. Are you following what I'm saying? In other words, I built it off feelings. And so I could feel like going to church because I had a thirst for it, but there would be sometimes I didn't feel like going to church. It would be the reason why sometimes I'd be a man of God or a woman of God, and sometimes I wouldn't because I just didn't feel like it. So, in other words, my tabernacle was off feelings, off emotions, off desires. Are you following what I'm saying? Now, come on with me, y'all. You won't admit it, but I will, that for a long time, our church was ran off emotions. How we feel. Are you following what I'm saying? How we feel. And when we went to church, it had to make us feel good. What was the message about? You know what? I'll say it and you won't say it, but our messages were entertaining more than anything. And they made us feel good. That's why you could ask folks what the message was about, and half the time they didn't know, as long as it made me feel good. We were keyed in, Brother Dave. We keyed into the messages on Sunday because toward the end they got that and that made me, I knew it was close to the end, and that made me feel good. We don't know what he said in in the beginning of the message, but toward the end, when he got his whatever on, I know because, and what's the difference in my brother over there across the street from me? Early in the morning, I can hear that thumping music going on. And I called him one day and asked him, I said, hey, bro, I ain't into that. I don't want to hear that. He said, man, I had to get my groove on. I have to get my groove on in the morning. So that's what they're getting. Is that what we're getting? That's what we were getting in the tabernacle, getting our groove on. And so somewhere along the line, it stopped working. Let me tell you, we gave an example. This would have been my input. We gave an example of why the message didn't go on. We gave an example of preaching the message, and you preach the message, and somebody get it, somebody get it, somebody get it, and it goes down the line. But where somebody didn't get it, there's a disconnect. You kept saying disconnect. There's a disconnect here because they got it here all the way down to them, but all of a sudden it didn't go to my son. My son didn't get it. What's the disconnect? Me. Did y'all get what I just said? Me. Why? Because I was stuck on my emotions. And all I want to do is get my emotions fixed. Are you following what I'm saying? And if I got my emotions fixed, my son didn't get it. Are you following what I'm saying? And so somewhere along the line, are y'all still with me? Somewhere along the line, I'm just talking for a minute. Somewhere along the line in David's tabernacle, I looked over and saw Bathsheba, and she felt what I felt. But that wasn't me. That wasn't me. I went off my feelings, and my tabernacle was on my feelings, but God said, and God knew, he chose me in your Bibles in 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7, chose me from my heart. Why? Because, like somebody said, you don't live off your emotions and your feel. You live off your heart. I looked some time ago, let me talk for just a minute. I looked some time ago and saw that in this day and time, there's not much commitment to anything. Because if it doesn't make me feel good, I'm not committed to it. And even if it makes me feel good, I'll receive it at the time. But when it stops making me feel good, I'm not receiving it anymore. Are you following what I'm saying? It has to make me feel good. If it's not making me feel good, I'm not receiving it. But if my heart is about it, if I give my heart to it, then it's me all the time. Are you following what I'm saying? And so, in other words, when I stopped feeling, the tabernacle failed. When it stopped making me feel good, it failed. Are y'all with me? But now all of a sudden, something is coming along where I give my heart to it. And if I give my heart to it, I'm in it forever. Are you following what I'm saying? I'm in it forever. God said about David that he shall fulfill all of my will. How do you know that? Why? Because it's not about his feeling. It's not about his emotion, but it's about his heart. I've looked at people and I know I'm just going to say it like this because this is from my heart as well. I looked at people and I know that if they're serving the Lord because of feelings, because you say the right stuff to them, you do the right thing for them, but they're gone if you can't hit their feelings all the time. Are you following what I'm saying? If you can't do what it takes to build their feelings up. But see, what it is, the reason why we've been married 53 years is because I didn't marry you off feelings. Are you following what I'm saying? I might have messed up at times. But though I messed up, my heart was still there. David might have messed up, but his heart was still there. He said, create in me a clean heart. My heart is still there. If it was my feelings, somebody else could make me feel. Somebody else could make you feel. But if it's about your heart, if I gave my heart to it, then it's forever. Are you following what I'm saying? See, giving your heart to it means that you're now committed to it. How you think, Victoria, in your heart, so are you. And so if you give your heart to it, then you give you to it. Are you following what I'm saying? And so if I give my heart to it, I give me to it. And so raising the tabernacle again, returning the tabernacle again, is returning. No, I'll say again, God said about David, he shall fulfill all of my will. All of it. Why? Because he's in it with his heart. It's not about his feelings. See, it's not about his feelings, but it's about his heart. Think about this for a minute. We've been talking about the ups and downs of ministry. And the reason why we can talk about the ups and downs of ministry is because of feelings. But there's a stable, steady, continuous, steadfast when it's about the heart. Are you following what I'm saying? When the heart is in it, it's there for the count. Are you following what I'm saying? It's there through thick and thin. It's there through everything. It weathers everything when the heart is in it. Are you following what I'm saying? And so what is being said is God is saying, I'm getting ready to raise a church of people who are in it with their hearts. Are you following what I'm saying? Who are committed. Are you following what I'm saying? And not looking for a place that can make me feel good. We've been in a season, El Newman, where to get somebody in your church, you had to make them feel good. Are you following what I'm saying? The battle between David and Absalom was to win the people's hearts. Absalom won the hearts of the people and took the people on to him. But when the heart of the people came back to David, then there was no taking them. They had received David. They were going to be with David for the rest of his life. Are you following what I'm saying? God raising the apostolic is God raising the heart of the people, not the feelings of the people. See, remember in your Bible in Matthew chapter 15, verse 8, when he said, they drew near me with their lip. And they, hallelujah. And on, but it says their heart was far from me. God is saying, I'm going to raise them if they want to be near me, if their heart is there, if the worship team sing from their heart, it doesn't matter how they sing. Are you following what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how they sing. If their heart is in it, it means they're committed to it. Are you following what I'm saying? If those that pray from their heart, they're praying from them. Are you following what I'm saying? It is not anybody else. They're not praying feelings. They didn't feel bad, but they're praying from their hearts. Are you following what I'm saying? If people are sitting on the benches from their heart, they'll be there. Are you following what I'm saying? It's not about their feelings. See, we had to cater to, Sister Melissa, we had to cater to people's feelings. We were in a season where we had to cater to feelings, where we had to cater to emotions. And as long as you didn't have to say anything, I used to wonder sometimes, how did that guy get on television? He wasn't saying nothing, but he was catering to the feelings of the people. Are you following what I'm saying? See, for a season, we were catering to the feelings of the people, and it didn't matter what we said. But what he's saying now is, I'm raising some from the heart. And whatever you say, I apply it to me. And I'm becoming that. It's transforming me. It's changing me. It's doing something about me. And so, in other words, the raising of the apostolic is raising of the heart of the people. And it doesn't matter what they do in the White House, because the heart of the people is with God. Are you following what I'm saying? It's the reason why. It's the reason why in your Bibles in 1 Samuel chapter 17, they could be dressed like soldiers, but not soldiers, be running and afraid. They could be dressed like, it's the reason why we could be dressed like saints of God, but running, but defeated. Why? Because we were going on feelings, and I felt afraid. But when my heart is in it, then it becomes me. Are you following? Saying, I'm committed to it. I'm committed to being a soldier. I'll give my life to being a soldier. I give my life to being saved. I give my life to First United. I give my life to God. Are you following what I'm saying? I give my life to it. Are you following what I'm saying? I give my life to sing. I'm telling you, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to repeat myself again. And I wanted to say that I've been wanting to say this for the longest, that if the worship team just sing from your hearts, every word just be from your hearts. Are you following what I'm saying? Now that's worship. That's worship. If you pray if you're praying and you're just saying something, saying what comes to your head to say, that's feeling. But if you say it from your heart, God knows it, because he chose David from his heart. Are you following what I'm saying? And so what is God saying? He's saying, David said, I can get this right. If you created me a clean heart again, my heart has failed. But if you see, part of the problem with us is that the people knew when David's face was to the dirt and he had messed up real bad. The people knew when they were whispering, they knew that if David get his heart right, the temple is going to raise, the tabernacle is going to raise again. Are you following? Saying the tabernacle, he got the heart. We're not talking about feelings and how he felt toward Bathsheba, but how his heart was towards the work of God. And David got up, washed himself, and cleaned up himself real good and said, I got to go and worship the Lord. Are you following? Saying one of the first things he said is he got to worship the Lord. He didn't say anything about Bathsheba and how he felt, but he said, oh, I got to go and worship the Lord. I got to clean myself up and go and worship the Lord. His heart had been cleaned. See, that's the thing about it. That when we do come to the Lord and He's dealing with us about some things, we might have messed up, but there's something on the inside of us when we've given our heart to it. There's something on the inside of us that will say, the first things first. First things first, I got to worship Him. And then I can get to all the other things, but the first things first, I got to worship Him. Are you understanding? I thought that was powerful, that God could say, though He knew David had messed up seriously. See, that's the disconnect with the saints of God. That though people, everybody in here is subject to mess up. But the telltale is whether it's your heart or your feelings. If it's feelings, I don't trust you. But if it's your heart, you'll be back. Are you following what I'm saying? If it's your heart, you're going to get it right. Are you following what I'm saying? If it's your feelings, see, it's part of the reason why. See, we have a mutual friend that backslid some time ago, some years ago. He ain't back yet. You know why? Because he was in the place where it was about feelings. But if it was ever about the heart, we wouldn't have to worry about him. He'd be back. Because it was inside him, because it was in his DNA, it was a part of him. Are you following what I'm saying? He would be back. If it was about feelings, somebody got to come along with good feelings for him to get back. But if it was about the heart, he'll be back. He would have been back. Are you following what I'm saying? Are you following what I'm saying? See, God is saying that He's about to raise. See, we ain't got to worry about a thing, but He's about to raise another tabernacle, David's tabernacle, real tabernacle. They transported the ark, the presence of the Lord, off feelings, not to do order. But then all of a sudden, his heart said, well, how did God say to transfer this presence? What's the order? And the Bible says in the latter chapter that God even helped them. Are you following what I'm saying? God even helped them. And so, in other words, raising the apostolic means to raise the heart of the people in the church. In fact, when you peep inside the door, you'll see people that's serious from the front to the back. It ain't got to be about feelings, but from the front to the back. Nobody's got to entertain them from the front to the back. Nobody's got to do anything to hold them from the front to the back. Remember the time, Minister Pruitt, when we used to be at the front door waiting for church to start. Are you following what I'm saying? See, when the heart is in it, you're at the front door waiting to see what God's going to do and what God has for you. You're at the front door waiting. We were talking about being prompt and on time. See, you'll be on time when the heart is in it. And you're saying God could do anything. God could do, no telling what He might do. So I want to be there. I want to be first in line. Are you following what I'm saying? But see, when it's at the point where I just don't feel like being there yet. I don't feel like He's going to do something. He's going to do anything. I feel like God's saying this. I feel like God's saying that. Are y'all still with me? I'm not trying to entertain us. I'm talking to the heart of the people I'm talking to. And I'm going to give you just a few seconds to determine whether you want your heart here or your feelings here. Are you following what I'm saying? Whether you want your heart here or your feelings here. Are you following what I'm saying? One last thing that I thought to say in Sunday school, that it's a strange thing that our children, we're still talking about that skip, that disconnect. It's a funny thing that our children can pick up some strange stuff, can end up being feeling strange and being strange. Why? Because they pick it up from us. They pick it up from us. We're bothered by things that shouldn't bother us as saints of God. If our heart was in it, it wouldn't bother us. But we're bothered by, and so if we're bothered by it, don't you think that they'll be bothered by it? It's learned behavior. Are you following what I'm saying? If we're depressed, don't you think they'll be depressed? Are you following what I'm saying? If we're looking like we're on the verge of suicide, don't you think? You know what? You never hardly heard of our children committing suicide, but now they're in the statistics talking about children committing suicide. If the grown up look like and defeated and on, don't you think the children will pick that learned behavior up? Our children are picking up some strange things, Maya, because they're looking at the adults and some learned behavior. Are you following what I'm saying? But see, going all the way back to when Grandma gave her life to the Lord, commitment, heart, it was a different story. Are you following what I'm saying? It's a different story because you could look over at Grandma and say, everything's all right. Are you following what I'm saying? Everything's all right because she's given her life. She went to church and it wasn't about no feelings. Reverend Seymour didn't make me feel good, but I feel good. Are you following what I'm saying? I know it didn't go like you wanted it to go, but I'm telling you that God is raising a tabernacle where the heart is a tabernacle. The heart is a place. It's not about feelings. For some time, our church has been about emotions, been about feelings. And folks will make you feel bad because you can't get emotional as they do. Are you following what I'm saying? Because you can't get as emotional as them. Folks will make you feel bad. But I'm going to tell you, hold on to those that have connected their heart to it. And your emotions just won't get like theirs, that have connected their heart to it. Are you following what I'm saying? Hold on. The enemy's been trying. You're rare, but a season is about that. See, you've been trying to operate in a harvest of feelings, but it's going to take a heart in it. Are you following what I'm saying? It's going to take the heart being in it. Hold on a minute. You were rare, and they attempted to make you feel like, because you didn't have social skills. See, social was you come in here, and if you connected to feeling, you social. But if you come in and you talk from your heart, you walk from your heart, you live from your heart, you committed. Did you not know that? You committed. And so God is saying out of this verse, that he's raising some people not off feelings, but of the heart, to draw near him with the heart. Are you following what I'm saying? So serving him from the heart, you'll fulfill all of his will from the heart. All stand that can stand. He's saying that for years we've been going off feelings, how I feel. I feel like this. I feel like that. But it's from the heart. Are you following what I'm saying? It's from the heart. I'm going to say today, while you're standing, today, to commit your heart to the Lord. Commit your heart to the Lord. That's between you and you. You and you. Whoever happened to be standing, commit your heart to the Lord. That's what it's all about. Commit your heart to the Lord. It's all about your heart to the Lord. Are you following what I'm saying? Another tabernacle is returning, is being raised. And it's all about the heart and not the feelings. We've been mimicking for years emotional feelings in the church. Are you following what I'm saying? And that's the church I choose. But today, God is raising another church, another tabernacle, another place. David's place from the heart. Lady Rankin.